Okay, good morning. We've got two last quadrilaterals. It's very important to understand that what we've dealt with up to this point, when we were talking about parallelograms, okay, those are quadrilaterals, four-sided figures, with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. These are two quadrilaterals in that they have four sides, but both pairs of opposite sides are not parallel, so we can't use the same rules. We have some different ones, okay? I have provided some really good notes on this. Pages 12 to 16 on the Chapter 6 notes, that's the word, and then the PowerPoint, Chapter 6, Section 6. This is our last section, okay? The next video you get will be the review, okay? Okay. So here we go. We're going to start with trapezoids. Trapezoids are four-sided figures with one pair of parallel sides. We call those sides the bases. There's base 1 and base 2. Okay? This is how it appears sometimes. It can be on its side. Doesn't matter. The two sides that are parallel are the bases. The sides that are not parallel are called legs. Okay? Those are the sides that are not parallel. Okay? This is the median. It joins the midpoint of each leg. The midpoint of each leg. So that means it is parallel to the bases. Okay, so let's stop for a second and think about parallel. When we talked about parallel lines with transversals, we are talking about consecutive interior angles. So A degrees and B degrees are supplementary. Over here, parallel lines, another transversal. C degrees and D degrees are also supplementary. Okay? The length of the median. Now, this is pretty cool to just, it's easy to remember. The length of the median is the average of the bases. So in pretty simple form, okay, median equals, we'll just call it base 1 and base 2. Base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Okay? Remember, the average is the sum of the numbers divided by the number of numbers. Okay? Next, if, let's go back for a second and remember isosceles triangles. Two equal sides. Those equal sides are called legs. If the legs on a trapezoid happen to be equal, then it's an isosceles trapezoid. So the legs are congruent. Okay? And what that also tells us is that these two base angles are equal to each other, and these two base angles are equal to each other. Okay? Okay? So that's what happens if it's isosceles. Okay? Now, we have a kite. Okay? Some lovely kites I've put into the notes for you. Trust me on this. Okay? Now, in a kite, I better stand on this side so you can see me. On a kite, you have four sides, two pair of equal lengths. In this one, this side equals this side. This equals this. Now, this becomes important when we talk about diagonals. If you remember the diagonals of a rhombus, they are perpendicular bisectors of each other. On a kite, the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. They only cut one diagonal in half. In this case, okay, the diagonal that joins the not equal legs, so this and this, or this and this is equal to this. Okay? Now, that gives you two congruent right triangles there and two congruent right triangles there. Yes, in fact, one of the examples I will be dealing with the Pythagorean theorem here. Okay? So, let's talk about what the angles do. The diagonal that's been cut in half just divides the two angles. Doesn't do it evenly. This angle and this angle are equal, and then down below, this angle and this angle are equal. The diagonal that is not cut in half does bisect the angles. So these two angles are equal, and these two angles are equal. Okay? It's a lot to remember there. Okay, just remember. Two pairs of equal sides, diagonals perpendicular to each other. Okay? Go from there. On this one, it's a good one. Make sure you follow the notes along. Okay? And you may want to jot notes down on this for the test. Okay, to go through those things. Okay, let us grab some, we're going to go with all of these here. I've got 6. Okay, got 6 examples, so we're going to have to go with 6 colors. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Okay. On the first 4, I'm asked to find the value of the variable. Okay, we can do that. For number 1, parallel lines. That means I've got a trapezoid. Remember those marks tell us those are equal lengths. So this is an isosceles trapezoid, which means that angle and that angle are equal to each other. And this angle are supplementary to each other. Okay? 180 minus 60 is where I got that. Okay? For number 2, okay, on number 2, parallel sides, trapezoid. Instead of the marks, they give me actual numbers, so 7 and 7. That's another isosceles trapezoid. I've got this angle, I need this angle. Isosceles doesn't matter here. All I do now is subtract 180 minus 68, okay? And that's what we're going to get for our answer, okay? Just a little bit of subtraction. Up here, we have a kite. These two are equal. These two are equal. Okay? No diagonals. I want to find that measure right there. So here's what we've got. Angle, 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 equal. Remember over there, okay? When it divided, it was dividing them equal on opposite sides. So if that's A, that's A. What do the 4 angles of any quadrilateral add up to? Okay, if you jumped out of your seat and said 360, you are correct. If you sat there bored, you're also correct. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to add these 4. So A plus A Okay, so I've got 158 subtracted from 360. Okay. Okay, so A is 101. Okay, now we have to remember another kite. Those are the ones divided equally. Remember, these are perpendicular. So that's a right triangle. Okay, I've got A, B, and C, like I showed you on the notes. Okay, so in this case, this is how we start. Now we're going to substitute in. We can go ahead and leave it like that. Okay? If you want to hit your calculator, you can. Not necessary. Okay? Though on a quiz or a test, if it is a multiple choice test, do what the question, or excuse me, the answers provide. If they give you, on this particular case, 8.01, okay, then you're going to have, oh, I've got to hit the square root key. If they leave radical 65, we go with radical 65. Okay? Now I've got two different ones on the trapezoid here. I'll move you over a little bit. Okay? So question 5. 5 and 6 both deal with the same one. So here we go. Okay? If FE is 18 and VY is 28, find CD. So I need to find the other base. I have the median. So I have median equals base plus base over 2. Here we go. Median equals base plus base over 2. Clear your fraction, multiply both sides by 2. That cancels that, turns that into 56. Basic algebra. Okay? So 56 equals 18 plus CD. Subtract 48 equals CD. That's that base. Okay? Problem number 6. If the measure of angle F is 140, the measure of angle E is 125, we want to find the measure of angle D. Okay? We don't need 140 degrees. That's a part of the problem. That is too much. We don't need it. Okay? We've gone over quite a bit in geometry. Sometimes you get too much information. Okay? Take what you need. 125 and angle D add up to 180. They are consecutive interior angles. Okay? And there you go. Okay? And yes, you'll get the stills of these as well. Okay? Okay, that's it. We're done with the chapter now. Next one you see will be a review. Make sure you're starting to put your notes together. It's important. There's a lot of properties in this chapter. The math itself is not difficult, but you do have formulas, properties of parallelograms, rectangles, rhombus, squares. Make sure you've got some good notes to deal with. Okay? Okay.